Hi everyone, my name is Joseph, and today I wanted to discuss Space Marine 2. Well, excuse me, the full title is Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, which came out September 9th, 2024. So right off the bat, I do want to point this out just because he is a big name voice actor within the gaming community. I think a little bit beyond that as well, but for Space Marine 1, Titus's character was portrayed by Mark Strong. If one follows video gaming, you're probably, if not aware about that individual, then you're probably familiar with that name. For example, I can't list any specific examples of whom Mark Strong has played in the past, but if I were to look at a list, I will be familiarized with a lot of the portrayals that he's done in the past. But I want to point this out just because I am aware that for the Space Marine 2, for the sequel, a big name individual has been asked to take the shoes of Mark Strong. I'm actually have a personal, not a personal, I say personal connection as if I personally know them. Excuse me. I have a personal connection to a property that they've worked on. His name is Clive Standen, and he's actually the actor on Vikings, the show Vikings, History Channel's Vikings, who portrayed Rollo, Ragnar Lothbrok's brother. And again, for Space Marine 2, Clive Standen's been asked to take the shoes of Mark Strong, and Clive Standen's the one who's portraying Titus this time around. So I just wanted to quickly get that out of the way. Just again, I do like Vikings, and I am a fan of Rollo's character. If anyone's ever seen the show Vikings, I think the show did a pretty decent job of leaving that thread both closed, but also a bit open-ended. But I'm going a bit of a tangent because we're not here to discuss Vikings, rather here to discuss Space Marine 2. So I am a fairly new Space Marine fan. I probably started dabbling into Warhammer. Did I say Space Marine? Excuse me. I probably started dabbling into Warhammer 40k starting about 2 or 3 years ago. I've always been aware about the franchise, especially because when I started becoming more of a fan of Berserk, that whole grimdark genre. If one is unaware, grimdark stems from Warhammer 40k and the far future and the grim darkness of the far future. There was Oni War, so that's where that label comes from, grimdark. So I was aware peripherally on the side of Warhammer 40k, but I was never really interested in it just because I did feel it was very edgy, very dude bro. A lot of characters who are quite huge, quite big, and quite frankly reminded me a lot of Gears of War, which makes a lot of sense because I would argue that Gears of War has inspirations from elements of Warhammer 40k. And that's something that it's not like Berserk. When one delves into what Berserk has inspired, one might be shocked to discover that's inspired a lot of other properties. Same idea with Warhammer 40k. I'm a big Halo fan, and Spartans. Spartans are very much an inspiration by Space Marines, power armor. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure. Warhammer may have been the first iteration to have power armor. But a lot of people are unaware about this. But Starship Troopers, there's actually power armor in that novel as well. It was unfortunate though omitted, cut out from the movie. And again, I'm only mentioning Starship Troopers because I believe Warhammer came out first. And again, that's just another inspiration that Warhammer has on other properties. So that's pretty cool. The reason why I started engaging with Warhammer 40k is because once I discovered Berserk, I discovered my fascination, my love for the horror genre, both in not just my reading material, but also my movie and television material. Probably the only part that horror hasn't really taken root yet is in my video gaming. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still quite nervous about playing games like Outlast 2, a lot of the Resident Evil games that are more horror-centric as are the most recent iterations. But yeah, so I really started becoming a bigger fan of horror, and that's why I started looking more into Warhammer 40k. So again, between the past 2 to 3 years, that's when I started engaging more with it. I did start dabbling with it first with the games. I do have Space Marine Warhammer 40k Space Marine 1 on my PS3. And I have it digitally on my computer as well because unfortunately my PS3, my controllers are going kaput. And I do have a device to let me use my PS4, PS5 controllers on my PS3, but it's an older version, an older model of it. It's a thumbstick drive. I think it's like Turtle something is what the company's called. So actually I have it right here. Let me quickly just pull it up. No, it's a bit of a tangent, but since we're talking about Warhammer, Brook, it's called Brook, this one. It's easy to set up, but it is a little bit tedious, and so that's why I made the choice to go ahead and get it on my computer, because it's easy to stream right there. So I started playing it on my PS3, but I haven't finished it. There's other and I'm almost done on my PC as well. I did finish Space Marine 2. and I played a couple other Warhammer games, such as Inquisitor Modular, but I haven't finished that as well. I've also started reading the novels. I'm starting with the Horus Heresy. I am aware that Warhammer, there is a difference between Warhammer 30K, 40K, and the most current setting where it's actually in the 42nd millennium. So Warhammer 40K is just the umbrella term to discuss the stories set within the setting. But the Horus Heresy takes place during 30K, and then before the story started moving forward, that takes place in the 41st millennium. And then again, after the whole 13th Crusade, the 13th Black Crusade, the fall of Kedia, we're now in the 42nd millennium with the Dominus Crusade being led by Robuti Gilliam, excuse me, I probably didn't pronounce his name correctly, and with the recent return of Lionel Johnson. I'm about 70% of the way through the novel Horus Heresy, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really liking Garvel's character, and of course Samus. At first I was like, why would they name this individual Samus, especially when there's such a famous Samus Aran from Metroid Prime. I was thinking about Samus when reading about Samus from the novel. I'm not gonna lie though, look out, Samus is here. He's the one that gnaws at your bones. He's the man by your side, the man beside you. Look out, Samus is here. I'm really coming to appreciate Samus as an individual character. Now when I think of Samus, I think of the version from Warhammer 40K, and for me the other Samus is specifically Samus Aran from Metroid Prime, or from Metroid, excuse me. But I'm really enjoying the novel, so yeah, all of that was a lot of content to talk about Space Marine 2. So I am a fairly new fan. I am fairly new to the lore, but I'm aware of some of the lore. And I've been having a lot of fun with Space Marine 2. It's a great game if one wants to say. So I won't lie, I am playing the first one. I do feel like the story for the first one was a bit more tighter and a bit more easier to understand. Just because of the second one, I feel like halfway through it, if you're not paying attention to the dialogue, it does become a little bit like, whoa, how did this start occurring? And the only reason why it's hard to pay attention to the dialogue is because sometimes a lot of action is going on. And so while you're trying to control Taz's character, you just don't have time to look at the dialogue at the bottom. I play with subtitles at the bottom of the screen. We're also paying attention to parries and stuff like that. I also feel like I don't know who made Space. I guess I should probably look it up really quickly. Who made Space Marine 2? Saber Interactive. I was gonna say Sledgehammer. Saber Interactive. They also did a great job of making this feel like a sequel in terms of gameplay. Because although I did compliment Space Marine 1, the gameplay element, Space Marine 2 is definitely much more refined and polished. It feels like a combination. This is also true for the first one, like a combination between Gears of War and with the second, this is less true. The first one, the second one of Gears of War, and a lot of people have been pointing out Dark Souls, and I would have to agree with that because a lot of people, well, obviously, a lot of the games I'm about to mention have been Dark Souls inspired, but it reminds me of games of like Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, where parrying is a big element, and again, that did stem from Dark Souls, Elden Rings, Demon Souls, and so forth, right? So it's pretty cool how there's two aspects of this gameplay, and you can't just button mash. I would argue like with the first one, is find a button mash, and then you could just go ahead and hit the key to go ahead and replenish your health. That element, that gameplay feature is still present with this game, but it's been much more nerfed. With the first one, you could be close to dying. As long as you were able to do the execution, you got back your health, and it went up fairly high. With the second one, even when you're playing on easy mode, when you do that execution, it doesn't bring back a lot of health. It only brings back one. Well, actually, maybe I'm incorrect about that because I've been playing a lot of operations, and operations might be different from campaign. But correct me if I'm wrong, I believe in campaign it only restores one shield bar, not more than one. And that is different, and that makes the game feel a lot more tighter. The gameplay, it makes one feel, instead of going all in, just button mashing, utilizing one's melee skills, or melee weapon to just cut through the enemies. Instead, one is now doing that, but also paying attention, making sure the enemy's doing the motion that they're going to attack you. Let's go ahead and parry them, and then continue moving forward with finishing off the enemy. So the gameplay very much does feel like the first one, but it has been refined. And dare I say, it feels like it's matured a little bit. When I say mature, I'm referring back to that parrying quality that's now incorporated into the gameplay. While I am praising it a lot, does this mean that since you can't just button mash, one does need to engage more with the gameplay? But I think that's a good thing. So I haven't really been playing on normal mode, for example. When I play online, I still want to get and refine my own personal skills on easy mode before I start amping up the difficulty. And in case one is unaware, when it comes to Space Marine, apparently it's no walk in the park. And one is going to increase the difficulty, then they better make sure that they are able to support the team. I'm not gonna lie, when I first started playing operations, I did feel like I was a drain on my team. I was being knocked out quite often. They were having to come revive me, and after 3 knockouts, you need to respawn, and that takes up to a full minute. And like Helldivers, if you all 3 members are incapacitated, then it's mission over, mission failed. So that does inspire me to do better with my gameplay. I am noticing I'm still not the best, but I am noticing I am playing a little bit better. I am playing a bit more aggressively because I'm getting more used to the pairing system. Am I perfect at it? No, far from it. I still need to practice getting the hand of dodging as well. When the circle is red, just get the hell out of the way. When the circle is blue, be patient and push the L1 button. I play on both my PlayStation. I did decide to get the game because I might be playing a co-op and being able to have it on 2 different systems will mean I could play on the console when friends come over. We want to. Someone could play on the PC via controller or something like that. But I'm planning on getting it on PC eventually, just because since I am playing on more on PC, and I'm not gonna lie, any shooter games, the whole mouse and keyboard aspect is starting to become much more attractive to me. Yeah. So excuse me, I'm very much enjoying the story. The game. And I am enjoying the main story, although, as I said, the story may not be as easy to follow. The major beats was easy to understand, and it very much was. I read online and people were comparing it to an action movie. The gameplay very much does feel like a relic, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in a positive way, because like Indiana Jones, for example, when he goes spelunking and he finds a relic, he's going to be quite excited, something to celebrate and to examine and study, right? Anyways, but so again, I mean that in a positive way. This feels like a relic from the PS3 360 era. It's just a game where it's just more about the action, button mashing, kind of like before God of War took that aspect and made it much more refined. And instead of just making it mindless, they made it to a point where if you want to be mindless, sure, but you could also have more control and agency with that kind of system. So it feels like a throwback to earlier genres from the earlier console eras. Yet despite that, the game does not feel old. The game still feels like it's up to modern standards. The game is a lot of fun. And because the game's gameplay is a relic, that's why I'm able to forgive it for its story element. And that's actually a big aspect for me, because usually when it comes to anything that I consume, it's the story, narration, characterization that's going to be the most important parts for me. And despite the story not being all there, the narration, I do have to say the characterization is at least fun. It is superficial. I do wish a little bit more was done between Titus, Garel, and Carrion. Garel, or Gadriel, excuse me, getting his name with Loken's name. Or no, his name is Garvel, excuse me. If you play the game, you know who I'm referring to. Titus, Garel, and Carrion. I did appreciate the brotherhood that formed between them by the end of the game. No major spoilers, but I am hoping there's going to be a sequel that will come back to those 2 teammates. Talking about the teammates, though, I do have to say really quickly about the gameplay. Playing the first one, I did notice that the teammate AI really sucks, and unfortunately holds true for Space Marine 2 as well. I do wish the teammate AI was a lot more competent and better. I hear in operations that the heavy AI is apparently like the Emperor's gift to the Space Marines, but I haven't really been able to test that out yet. When I've been playing operations, if I don't have a full team, then the third member, who's an AI partner, has not been in heavy. Once I was very close, but then before the actual action started, the heavy got replaced with a real individual. So yes. So I do wish that the AI was better. When one plays solo, you could definitely tell that all the enemy AI is going to go directly for you, even when they're fighting your 2 AI teammates. I do wish it was much more natural. Have the AI not just go zooming just for you, aiming for you, but have them engage with the teammates too, and that will make the game feel a bit more immersive. I just want to quickly mention that. But going back again, I did appreciate how the game, it was just a lot of fun going through the story. I was going through it not for the narration, I was going through it for the characterization, for Titus, to see how he was going to engage with these 2 battle brothers on his team, and the lack of trust that's at the start. And would I recommend Space Marine 2? Yes, I really would. It's not common where I buy games full price. I do that very rarely. It's actually counted on my hand, 2 hands. and when I was young, I did buy games full price. When I got older and I got my job, I was like, no, I could wait for things to go on sale. And now that I'm in my career, I still have to make that choice to go ahead and wait for games to go on sale. But here and there are points where the game is just interesting enough to me where I want to, well, get it when it releases because I want to play with it. I want to engage with it. Good examples about this would be like Destiny 2, The Final Shape, um, Spider-Man 1. I haven't bought the second one, but I did get the first one full priced. The Red Dead Redemption 2. And if I could go back in time, I probably would have done The Witcher 3 full price, but I didn't really engage with that franchise when The Witcher 2 came out. Anyway, so again, would I recommend Space Marine 2? Yes, I really would. It's a lot of fun. Operations is great. Single player is fun. I haven't really talked about the multiplayer, but the multiplayer is a lot of fun as well. Right now, there's only 3 modes. There's Capture and Control, Annihilation, and I forget the first mode, but it's basically just Domination. And my favorite mode is the Domination mode, but I've been playing all 3. I'm not the best when it comes to killing and going after other people, so I always feel like I'm just a dead weight when it comes to modes like Team Deathmatch or Annihilation. So I'm playing mostly the objective-based modes. And I enjoy Domination more because I like having different options to go and choose where I want to go and attack. And when it comes to Capture and Control, there's only one point that pops up in the map, and the team races to it to control that point. So if one has played Space Marine 1, if you feel like, I don't want to play such an outdated game, Space Marine 2 does a great job of refining the gameplay. It still feels like a relic from the past, but that's a positive thing, not a bad thing. It's something where one could just hop in and start playing. Like, for example, I am playing Dragon Age Origins on the side in preparation for Velguard. I'm not going to lie, sometimes I just want to play, but I can't just play because I need to talk to this person. I need to go over here, talk to that person, and go over here, turn in the item that I did at the previous place that I picked up for. And it's not a fetch quest per se. It's just that in Dragon Age, the story is well enough where it makes sense why you're going to different places. But again, it might be a little bit, about 15 to 20 minutes before you're actually engaging with an enemy. And then again, the gameplay is different, right? You're going to click on the enemy and utilize your spells and attacks and everything. Like, I'm playing as a mage. But whilst in Space Marine, you just pop it in, you select your mission, and when you see an enemy, you just engage with them right away. You either smack them with your melee weapons or you shoot at them with your ranged weapons. So again, would I recommend Space Marine 2? Yes, I really would. If you're playing it, please let me know what's your favorite class. Right now, I'm alternating between Tactical and Vanguard. Tactical and Vanguard. I'm a big fan of any machine gun type, assault rifle type, SMG type characters, so that's why I'm gravitating towards them. I really want to check out the heavy next, the one with the heavy machine gun. And then after that, I'll probably will check out the bulwark. And for me personally, the sniper and the assault class will be last. The assault class does have a melee weapon, but not a primary, it's secondary. I don't know how to feel about that. I usually much more prefer to engage with long range weapons and short range weapons. And when it comes to the sniper, for me it's the opposite. I do like range weapons, but not to that extent, to that extreme. So while it's with the assault, I don't like that there's no primary gun. With the sniper, because I do like the primary gun, doesn't mean I want to be using a sniper weapon. I think you can switch out to an assault rifle, but for right now, I could do that with Tactical and Vanguard, and that is how one is supposed to be playing those classes. So if that is true, I could do that with sniper. I probably will be doing that, but for right now, I'll do that later. For right now, I want to play with Tactical and Vanguard. In case one was unaware, I do like how the game system also keeps some things isolated. So for example, any cosmetics that one unlocks for both the Eternal War, the PvP aspect, and operations, the PvE aspect, it's shared between the two. It's not exclusive. That's not true for the class progression though. If you're playing as Tactical and you're like level 20 in operations, you'll be level 1 if you go to Internal War. It's got a separate pool. And actually, personally, I do like that. And the last thing I'll talk about when it comes to multiplayer, a lot of fans are not a biggest fan, a lot of players aren't the biggest fan of the whole the only one class per team, and then for multiplayer, only 2 classes per team, only 2 people per class. I'm personally totally fine with that because it forces one. Yes, it is a little bit annoying when, especially in operations, there's only 3 characters. When you have to choose a different character, especially when you're playing operations for the first time, so you're not really sure who does what and what kind of weapons the class uses. But once you start engaging, I think it's a lot of fun. It forces one to play not just with the same class. Because I'm not going to lie, I probably would have just kept playing with Tactical until I maxed out or close to maxing out. before I started exploring. But since tactical was a little bit of a popular class, that's why I started checking out Vanguard. And yeah, so some may not enjoy it, but I personally I do like it. And also, I'm always a big fan of class diversity as well. I'm a big Destiny fan and player, but I'm not going to lie, it is a little bit boring when you're on a fire team and you're doing a strike or a heroic strike, a nightfall, and everyone's the same class. Everyone's a warlock, 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 or a hunter, hunter, warlock, titan, titan, warlock. It's a lot more fun. I know it sounds silly, but it makes me a little bit excited, especially because it's someone who likes to engage with the lore and world building within most properties when it's a full fire team of hunter, warlock, and titan. Same aspect. I like that here. It feels really cool going into battle with two different types of battle brothers at my side. So yeah, so again, would I recommend this game? Yes, I definitely would. If you are playing it, please let me know what's your opinion of it. Let me know what class you are utilizing, and are you playing operations more than PvE? Right now, surprisingly, I'm actually playing. Operations more than PvP. I'm actually playing Eternal War more just because I think I finished the story. I finished operations. And so I'm good to go when it comes to the PvE aspect. But with that being said, I have played operations about 4 or 6 times, and it's always a lot of fun. Whenever I do lose a match with the team, I like it when the team doesn't just quit and we try again. I haven't done it with the full team yet. Usually one person does quit, but it's a lot of fun when we're able to conquer that round, that match. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. I hope you all have a great day. May the Emperor bless you and watch over you. I'm just joking. May the Emperor protect you. But take care, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I do appreciate it.